Hey, what's up guys, ColyWoly here. Today we're back with a brand new Clash Royale video. In this video, I'm going to be telling you guys about 5 cards that need a nerf or buff. So 2 of the cards on this list need a nerf, and 3 of them I think need a buff. So let's get right in this video. Okay, first on the list, we have Valkyrie, and obviously she needs a nerf. I mean, she's being used everywhere. She kept getting buffed last spring and early summer, and now she keeps getting indirectly buffed because of new card releases, such as the Royal Hogs and Royal Recruits, in which the Valkyrie is both really good against. She is just really strong. And what I propose for her nerf is that her hit speed is much slower, and she has a slower first attack. And the reason why I decided on this and not a smaller amount of health is because I think she should be tanky, but she shouldn't be so reliable at doing so much damage. It's kind of just too much for a splank. So I think she just should be meant more to tank and a little less to actually do damage. And of course you use her to do damage, but just not as much. So I think the hit speed nerf and the first attack nerf would help it out. And also, a first attack being slower, what that would do is that, like, skeletons and goblins, right when she kills it, they'd probably get a few more stabs in before they all die. So that's why I think that should also be nerfed. Okay, next on the list for cards that need changed is the Royal Hogs. Yeah, these guys are really underwhelming, and I'm not really too sure on what they should do about this, because I was worried if they'd have too much hit points, they'd just become really OP. So I think what should happen is that their hit speed is decreased from 0.9 seconds, and currently it is 1.1 seconds. So I think what this would do is make them a little more threatening, so they could do damage quicker and more of them. So that way it's just a bit easier to get damage off if they don't have the right counters. Because right now, like, almost anything can mitigate most of the damage, but I think it'd be a bit better if they were a bit more quick. Okay, next on the list, we have Tesla. Now, I don't know if it's Tesla or Tesla, but I just like saying both. I don't know. It's weird. So another one that needs nerfed. And this one has been seen literally everywhere. Just bait decks have them now. Hog decks have them. A lot of decks have Tesla now. It used to be Cannon was really OP way back in the day, but now it's Tesla. So what I think Tesla needs is a lifetime nerf. I think it should be decreased down to 30 seconds, so it shares the same with Cannon. So the only difference Tesla would have between Cannon is its spell resistance and its ability to target air. So I think that would make Tesla a little less overused, because it is kind of frustrating just to have to draw because they're bridge spamming Teslas at you. In fact, that actually once happened to me, but luckily I managed to win. So the next on my list is Cannon Cart. Okay, obviously this one needs a buff. I looked it up and literally 0.1% of people use this. So I think Cannon Cart is really, really underused. It's just really hard to get value from a 5 elixir card that can be countered by 2 elixir troops. For example, bats can counter it quite well, and as well as many other 2 elixir cards. Or maybe 3 elixir, but still, that's a positive gain. I just think Cannon Cart is too underwhelming, so what I propose for this one is the move speed would be decreased to medium. Now that might sound like a nerf, but I think it's a buff, because what happens a lot is you put the Cannon Cart in the back and it just rushes up to the front and you can't support it in time. And I think if there's a bit of a slower move speed, it would make it still be able to do most of the things it could normally do, and it would still get just as much damage on the tower from that. But I think it's better because then you could like place a giant in front of it and have more time to do that. So that way you can bank more elixir with it. Similar to other ranged units like Witch, Wizard, all of them. They're all medium. So I think it would make much sense to have it decrease to medium. And then I think the hit speed should be increased to 1 second from 1.2 seconds. I think this could be increased even more, but I think this would be good for now because that way it has quite a lot of DPS at range, which I think a 5 elixir card deserves, because it's usually overshadowed by splash 5 elixir cards such as Wizard and Executioner. So I think it needs a lot of DPS to have an ability over them, or an advantage over them, sorry. So for that reason, I think Cannon Cart needs a buff. And those are some proposes for those 4 cards. But the last card, but it's definitely not least, we got Barbarian Barrel. So this one I feel is overshadowed by the log, because the log can do a lot of things it can't, and the Barbarian Barrel is more expensive. And most of the time the Barbarian that comes out doesn't even matter, because usually in bigger pushes it just dies immediately. It's almost like a mini freeze spell, it doesn't do much. So for that reason, I think what the Barbarian Barrel needs is a 66% faster rolling time, which would make it so it rolls faster. Because currently it rolls slower than the log, so I think it needs to roll faster than the log. Because what I think is that the Barbarian would actually be pushing it, so instead of forcing against it, because that's kind of my theory behind it. So if the Barbarian was pushing it, it would go faster, right? So I think that makes sense. Also, this one doesn't exactly make sense, but I feel like it needs. But I was thinking a wider width. What that would do, compared to the log, is make it so you could easily snipe princesses and dark goblins while also having the Barbarian a little closer to the tower. And I just think it would be a unique ability over the log, and maybe more people would use a Barbarian Barrel. So yeah, for that reason, Barbarian Barrel needs a buff too. So this video may have been a bit short, but I hope you guys enjoyed listening to my thoughts on some of the cards that need buffs or nerfs. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.